Welcome, everybody. We're back with another episode of Play Economy, twice in 1 week. Are we excited? Are we having fun yet? I'm your host, Tyrannosaurus Rex. I know. And I'm joined, as always, with the illustrious Beckatron. Thank you so much for jumping in here. Today, our guest is Matt with BigTime, and we're going to have some big fun talking about big things and big opinions, and I'm already tired of it, so I'm sure you are too. Thank you for jumping in here, Matt. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm all about making big claims,
Hey,
things, and big time, and lots of puns. And yes, we are.
Let's beat this horse. All right. Matt, introduce yourself a little bit to the Play Economy audience. Talk a little bit about what you're doing there, and then we'll dig into everything big time.
Yeah. I know we're going into the interview mode, so I just slid my camera a little bit closer.
Yeah. Now bring it in, all right? Let's
listen
to Papa Matt, all right? Yeah.
Gather around. Yeah. So I'm Matt, proverbially known as Matt the Guild Guy, not to mix me up with Matt the guy who's actually making the game. So I've been with BigTime about 8 months. I'm the guild. I know, almost one.
You're getting there.
I've been with BigTime, like I said, about 8 months, and since that time, I've kind of evolved into the role of being the guild manager. Guilds in BigTime are a little bit different than in the rest of Web3, but I'm sure we'll get into that here shortly.
Yeah.
And by virtue of that, by talking with players so often, I tend to do a lot of our social media outreach. So stuff like on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube.
And here with Play Economy today, which is fantastic. So really excited to dig in. Like we do, can Matt turn up his volume? King Perrin 1. Let's see if we can make that happen. Ooh, bring that microphone closer. Let us hear your breathing in between takes.
It's about 1/2 of an inch away, but if I need to be louder, noted.
Okay. Speak from the diaphragm. That's what I learned in theater back in high school.
Oh, you took theater?
I was a thespian back in the day. So this is actually a funny story. A triple letter athlete. Is that what they are in high school when you get the letter jackets and you get your letter for like doing whatever? I was a triple letter athlete, and I was partly. I was track and field winter, track and field spring, and then theater. Triple letter athlete. Look at me coming in hot. Yeah, fun story. I haven't thought about that in a while, but I just love that theater brought me the triple letter athlete.
Never think of it ever again.
But cool. All right, Matt. Sorry to digress on everything on high school history, which we can pull up pictures later.
Yeah.
We love to get right into it. Let's look at some gameplay. Would love to dig in. Let's pull up this screen. One of the things we say here every week at Play Economy is fuck the vegetables. Let's get to just desserts. Would love to see what's going on here. Yeah. So talk to us. Set the stage.
This is it. This is big.
All right. So I know it's very verbose. You can tell the lore and content team has been working overtime to really build the world here.
Yeah. So this is where you spawn. It's in a place called Watertown, and you can see that you've got our protagonist here. He's decked out in a lot of stuff, and then next to him is a relatively new player who is running around in his underwear.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can kind of see the NFTs right off the bat because the clothing and the cosmetics are the big NFT part of that. But I want to digress here. So you can see in the background, you see some mountains. This is all part of a large open world. It's called Time's End. You can roam this world. You can run around. And then as you run around in said open world, you're going to come up on these large purple doors that look like this. They're going to have a recommended difficulty, and then you can drop into these things, which we call portals. And you can go through solo, or you can go through them with up to 6 people. And the enemy on the inside will scale accordingly. And when you're inside that dungeon and running through, that's where the enemy and the fighting really takes place. So there's some side quests there, and you're going to see it looks pretty aesthetically different than the rest of the game. So you can see here, he was in a forested area, and then boom, that dungeon brought him into kind of an ice castle area. If you're successful, a dungeon takes about 15 minutes. There's normally some side quests in there. But one of the things about the dungeons is they're all instance-based. So they appear, they disappear, and then every time you go into them, the enemy, the loot, the drops, the layout change a little bit each time. So in that way, it really generates a ton of new content every time you go through it. You can't really play through all of BigTime right now.
Interesting.
Keeps it fresh. We like that.
Yeah. All right, so that's like a very high level look at the gameplay stuff. What I'd love to do, and so everyone in the play economy side of things knows this, but I'm a big D&D guy. So I love story building and world building and lore. And so what's the lore? These time bandits, these time warriors. Tell us a little bit about what is happening in the biggest of times at Big Time.
Yeah. So the game is set in the future. Time is collapsing, and all of humanity has been pushed to the end of the universe and time's end. That's that open world we just saw.
Interesting.
And as society is kind of all gathered there, there's still some room for entertainment in this world, and it's called Paradox Corp. So if you want to literally travel in time to go on vacation, you can do it. Their slang name is Big Time. They're the bad guys, and as they're doing their
It's
intergalactic
like big.
travel,
It's like big commerce or like big. I don't know what I'm forgetting, but like they always throw the word big in front of it, and that means it's bad all of a sudden. Is that what's happening with Big Time? Big Time is coming after us again.
you know it. Yeah,
All
no,
right.
that's a great example. And then you can travel in time in the game, and so as you battle through, you can kind of see the results of their nefarious activity. You can see here; these are some of the big time bad guys. Um,
Mm,
and that's kind of from the lore perspective. You can't really
yeah.
see all of it right now in the alpha version, which is all we have right now, because there's really only one time period. But you're going to have multiple time periods. We've teased some stuff with cowboys and dinosaurs, some stuff that almost looks like Blade Runner set in the future. We've got an Atlantis theme one too. So a lot of interesting stuff kind of on the docket for the global launch of the game that all fits more within that timeline.
Hey, so global launch of the game. When is that happening? Are you allowed to say? Do you have any idea? A lot of the times when we're talking to people, they have no idea. So
I have an idea. It's
hey,
yeah, it's better than nothing.
yeah.
It's going to be in 2023, probably like first
Okay.
quarter or so. Yeah.
All right. So what's going on right now in Big Time? What are these people doing? Like, how can they get in? How can people play today? Talk to us about what I'm going to be doing this weekend if I can find 10 minutes to myself outside of changing poopy diapers for my 1-year-old.
So
So
right now,
relatable.
I know, right? Everyone else is probably changing poopy diapers and trying to find 10 minutes to play video games. I just
Yeah.
assume that everyone is.
yeah. So there's a couple ways you can get involved. The main way is it starts with going to Big Time and then registering there. It literally takes one click, and then after that, it's still somewhat exclusive to get into the game. It's
Hmm.
you need a Ruby Pass to play, which is basically like enabling your account.
Okay.
We're in an alpha, so we can't put everybody that wants to get there into the game. But I think I know somebody who's going to be able to give you access into the game. But for the audience who's listening, if they want to get involved, you can get it from one of two places. You can either go to like our community events, so things like Twitter Spaces or events like this, and I'm going to identify some users and give them some Ruby passes.
Heyo.
Heyo. Or you can check out some of the content from our trusted partners. So King Perrin is actually one of them. So I know he gives out about 5 to 10 passes a week in his streams. And so if you go to them, some of the larger guilds that are involved with Big Time as well, they give out passes pretty regularly.
King Perrin, all about that mic turn up. There we go. Give King Perrin a follow, but also give Play Economy a follow, friends. You're actually on this YouTube channel right now. I could use a few more people than just my cousins and my mother to follow us. That would be fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. I don't know. It seems like the gameplay is pretty like robust. From most of the Web3 games that we're looking at, they're either super alpha or there's like very limited gameplay to show off. So this is like there's actually like a whole world. How long have you guys been building and like tell us about that kind of stuff. The full global launch next year, that's impressive.
Yeah, we've been in development actually about 2.5 years. So
Okay.
the game started in April of 2020. That's kind of I think we draw our origins back to the first Slack message.
All right, smart. It's when you have a Slack, that means you have a business. That's my that's my take on it.
Absolutely. I think that's actually how they date the age of the universe as well. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys would know. You guys are the ones who are dealing with time and everything, all the intricacies of that involved. So, hey, yeah, I'll give you that.
I don't want to give too much alpha out, but yeah, you're right. So it took us about 2 years to get to an alpha, and that was probably about 80% of what you can see right now. We've added quite a bit more content, and we're probably like at least 6 months away from the full launch of the game. Now, between now and then, we will continue adding content. We've actually outlined a little bit of our roadmap of the extra stuff that will get released between now and then, including using your NFTs, your land NFTs inside the game, and additional levels for people to play. But that's all going to kind of come out probably over the next 6 months or so.
Got it. Interesting.
And when you say using your land NFT, what does that mean exactly?
Great question. So our land NFT is called Space, and it's a non-localized non-localized land NFT. So a bit of a different take. The aesthetically, what it looks like, the image I want you to conjure in your mind is one space is like a room in a house, and you can combine it together. So if you buy multiple space, it's like buying multiple rooms and putting them together in a modular fashion, and you have almost total control of the way the layout and the inside of it works. And so you can make it as a customized area. So let's say that
that's some beautiful artwork. Sorry.
I love it. This is called the Siphon. I think it's one of the coolest things our developers have made inside of BigTime, and you can see it's so different from the other type of gameplay we've had so far. But I'll dive into that in a second here.
Yeah. So it's talking about space, building a modular home. It sounds almost like, I don't know if anyone else has played this, but the haunted house on Manor on Haunted Hill. Some game also made by Wizards of the Coast, very very near and dear to my heart with all the D&D stuff. But it's a game, you build a modular home and it's a haunted house, and then all of a sudden one of the people you're playing with turns into the bad guy, and you all have to find your way and survive together. Worth checking out, but it's a board game, so we don't talk about board games on this show because we're all about playing video games. Sorry, but that sounds cool from your land sale and whatnot that's going on.
Wait, that sounds like something I played in VR chat.
Really? All right, maybe there's a virtual version of it. We'll play later. Yeah, we'll play later. No.
Cool. But I guess the main reason why guilds especially get involved with space in BigTime is if you want to make and upgrade your own NFTs, you need space. And if you want to collect that in-game token, you need space. Now, it is not like a pay-to-win mechanic. They don't give you kind of extra stats in the game. But for users that really get involved in BigTime, they want to customize their appearance. They want to look cool. They want to peacock a little bit to show that they are the big ballers in town. Then you're going to want to make your own stuff. And the foundation for that is space.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a good chance to like talk about obviously there's a lot of games out there that are all doing a lot of like tokens, NFTs, things like that. What's like the approach that BigTime has on the BigTime take on this? Ooh, I'm sorry for the player. It looks like whoever we're watching, you're not good enough right now. We're getting revived. Okay, we're back in action. All right. That was a pretty cool revive sequence. But what's the take that BigTime has on NFTs, tokens? Like, what's not necessarily stick, but like, what's the differentiator that you guys are bringing to the table?
Yeah, if anything, we kind of swam against the stream on how we integrated NFTs and blockchain into the game.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty good reason for that. So we first of all, there's no token, at least not yet. And we're not going to do an IDO or an ICO. There will be one token. It's basically just available inside the game. And you have to play the game to get it. So not even the CEO is going to have a token ahead of time.
Interesting.
Yep, and really the main mechanic for using it is inside the game, where you can use it to 1, upgrade your NFTs, 2, use it on the marketplace, and then 3, eventually you're going to be able to use it to access additional game content, almost like a battle pass. So very different than something. Actually, it's kind of more similar to some of the currency you'd see inside of a Web 2 game than anything else.
Honestly. The World of Warcraft Gold or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. So, but what we did do was we are adamantly committed to a free-to-play and non-pay-to-win game. That's really just what we think our players will like and what we think a lot of players will like in the future. So what we do think we do really well is for the substantial number of users out there that like cosmetics and changing their appearance, you can do that in BigTime. You can, whenever they drop in the game, those cosmetics, you can use them, you can sell them. Eventually, you will be able to move them out of the game and onto a DEX if you want to, and then ultimately with space you can make your own too.
Wow, That's cool. So the way the play and earn, like everyone is saying in the industry now, the play and earn mechanic here, it really is around like building, creating these NFTs that are then sellable on the open market. If I was going to come in here and as much as I I am all focused on gameplay, but let's just say in a theoretical world where there's not a triple letter track and field / theater thespian out there who just loves gameplay and they want to come in and make some money. That's the way they do it. They go in, they earn this in-game currency, build up their NFTs, then go sell them on the open market. Is that
exactly? And I think what you said there, like the focus on the gameplay, has been something that is not prevalent in a lot of the Web3 games that were successful in 2021. I would argue that
right?
it was a secondary or tertiary consideration, and especially
the words just casually thrown around that it seemed like they cared about the money instead of the actual gameplay. Interesting take.
controversial. I know.
I know.
Yeah, and there I would be remiss if if it came across like I was kind of down talking about them.
No. That's what brought the interest in the amount of. I think I saw a stat earlier today. It was like half of the investment in games that happened in the last year were in Web3 games, which is like everyone like that is the reason that the door is open for everything that happened with Axie and others before. Is like now we're going to be on the path to all of the games everyone thinks about today that are household names that are going to be either Web3ified or there's going to be versions of them that exist, like built natively. So.
Yeah. But you guys did raise a bunch from NFT sales, right? Like I mentioned, you said you're not going to do a token sale, like an IDO or an ICO, but like you guys did, that's accurate, right? You guys did pretty well for NFT sales. Yeah. So
100 million. Yeah. That was
not
you don't necessarily need. Yeah. You don't need to do an IDO or an ICO. I feel like that's a decent amount of money. Although listen, AAA or quadruple A games, as they say, cost $1 billion, close $500 million. So
Red Dead Redemption is 500 million. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, hopefully you don't have like engineers that are so obsessively like, we need to like fix this blade of grass like 1,000 times because it needs to be perfect. Right. I think that there's probably like some element of like the dev teams in Web3 gaming that are just kind of like, let's get out something that's fun and good. And like, we don't have to be super obsessive over all of the details, right? Like that we can iterate upon that. That's what I would think anyway.
Yeah. And that is what you just described as the alpha. There's I think the best way to kind of describe it is like there's a business component to any game, right? You got to keep the lights on in some way, and then the game developers and the artists are truly that. They are artists and they are builders. And you ever ask an artist like, "Are you done? Like, can you work faster?" And they're gonna always be like, "No, I just want to make it just perfect." And that's a good tension. It's a healthy tension within the team of like the developers are like, we just want to just make it just a little bit more until it's just and then the other side is like, hey people, this is incredible, like this needs to go out right now. Like if I told you that this game right here is about 25% of what it will be 6 months from now, you'd be like, yeah, of course, go to market with this game right now. Well, a lot of our developers were like, this isn't
oh ready. You failed. Sorry, I know that's not you, but unfortunate. Good.
I have a question. What are your, do you have like, sorry, Ryan, to interrupt, but like, do you have like, Matt, insight into, I mean, you kind of alluded that you do insight into the kind of like developers and the artists working on this. And like, I'm curious, like, what do they think about Web3 gaming? Are they just like, man, we're so excited to build this so that we can kind of craft our own assets on the game and like make, hopefully monetize that? Or are they still skeptical? Or are they just kind of like, what is their thought?
Don't quote me on this stat, but I want to say I don't think we have a single game developer who has worked previously on a Web3 game. Now, there's other people at the company who have worked on Web3 games, and for example, the founder co-founded Decentraland, so he's been around for a while. But I think all of our developers came from AAA studios, so Rockstar, Blizzard, Epic, all those. So that's kind of where they cut their chops, and they're very experienced with it. I mean, this game platform is built on Unreal Engine 4. And so, 95% of all the games that are out there are either built on Unreal Engine or on Unity. And we went with Unreal Engine mostly because you can kind of optimize things a little bit more. Doesn't make it as easily accessible on mobile, but you have more options in terms of overall gameplay. So that was a bit of a gamble. I think everybody is committed to like Web3 and blockchain and NFTs. But honestly, so much of how this game is built is off chain that I don't think it makes a ton of difference from their perspective.
Yeah.
Most of this
and
is
that's how it should be, right? Like I think that like at least like, when I first saw CryptoKitties in 2017, 2018, it was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense because of all the time spent in games, either like earning assets or buying things. Like, why would you not want to be able to have at least the option to take them out? So it's kind of like, I just feel like whole games don't need to be on chain. Like that just sounds like a nightmare, but it's like the elements of the assets portion of it, I think are really interesting because previously people have to sell their whole accounts, right? And it's like, maybe you don't want to sell your whole account. You just want to sell like a couple things and be able to do that on an open marketplace, right? That even if the game goes under, there's maybe still something kind of valuable about those assets. Like who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it all fits within the general narrative that I think to draw a distinction between Web3 and Web2 games draws a larger chasm between the two than there needs to be. Right? You have to almost think like,
It's
mentally, or like I gotta abandon kind of Web2 to get to Web3. In reality, I kind of view it more as like another incremental development, and it's like when you get kind of down to it, to give players more ownership of the assets, to give them the ability to move things out of a game and eventually to be able to move them into other games. That kind of interoperability, that ability to verify scarcity is going to come into blockchain. That's basically what you're talking about, and how you go about that. All kind of using deductive reasoning ends up at blockchain.
Yeah.
That
kind of segues in. I was just about to say that kind of segues into a nice idea of like just partnerships, being able to have those NFTs that you can take and go cross game or cross. Are you guys doing any partnerships with anyone? Is there like some fun things that are coming down the pike with that kind of stuff?
So yes, it's actually through OpenLoot, which is technically the parent to BigTime now, and OpenLoot is going to help other games kind of onboard into Web3. They generally have a good game concept and a good core group of developers, but there's other things with the transition into Web3 that they need assistance with. So something like marketing or blockchain or loot boxes or credit card transactions, something like that. And OpenLoot helps them do that. And that the way that we all synergize and ultimately come together from the game side is through that shared marketplace, which is on the OpenLoot marketplace.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
It reminds me. Oh, sorry, keep going.
Go for it, Becca. There's some lag here. I'm in a house.
Interrupting you.
I know. I swear it's the lag.
Whose TP is that?
Okay, the TP. So it's another day. It's another background.
Oh my God, I love the TP though.
It's a great place to. Great place to take a nap.
That to me.
I know, right? If it was built in, it's actually built in Unreal Engine 5. So I don't know if you have the computational capabilities of having this airdrop to your life yet.
I've got a Mac, unfortunately.
I know. Jeez, what are we doing?
Kill me. But Ryan, to what you were saying, and Matt as well, like, we spoke with Sebastian from Sandbox yesterday, just like playing around in Alpha Season 3, and obviously what they've done, taking such kind of strides to be able to integrate other NFT collections to manifest in voxelized form is like really interesting, right? Because that almost just gives people a reason to come in. I mean, obviously, I think there are huge differences, obviously, between what you guys are doing and what Sandbox is doing, because I find the gameplay here very playable. Like, it's a game, as you said. Like, that's not, why do we need to make the distinction between Web3 and Web2 gaming? Like, it's just gaming. It's the evolution of gaming. And I think that's the right mentality to think about it, because it shouldn't be like us versus them. It's just like, no, this is like another option, like another way to build games, and hopefully making it so it's not such a friction for people, right? Like having to have the wallet or having to have this and that. And like, I've said this before, and I think this is just so true. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name now. The guy from Blanco's Block Party, he was like, gamers lose their wallet addresses 1 million times a day, right? It's like they would lose their logins. They lose their logins 1 million times a day. If they have like a wallet that if they're locked out of, they lose all their stuff, they're gonna be pissed. And so we really need to how do we ameliorate some of those things that are going to happen because we're human. So
yeah, I don't know. There's also one thing that I think is unique that you bring to the table. So like normally, we're talking with developers, but you sit heavily like working with guilds and that kind of stuff. So, usually you think about the way guilds want to get involved is they also want to own a bunch of NFTs so that they can earn an income from their scholars and all that kind of stuff. But you don't really have that set up with BigTime. So how does BigTime work with guilds and get those player bases involved and interested? I'm curious.
Yeah. So I guess the most simple way I can describe guilds in BigTime is that they are large collaborations of players, and they all vary a little bit in how they operate. So almost like a history lesson. So let's go back to like Web 2, World of Warcraft. Like when you think of a guild, or at least when I think of a guild, the number one thing I think of is Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy!
Yeah. And like, it's a group of people standing outside of, a building before they run in there with their friends and then ultimately just charge into failure. And I love that. Like, it created an iconic memory that even if you'd never played a minute of World of Warcraft in your life, you know that line and you know where it came from. Basically, it's a group of friends playing together. That's the image I have in my mind of guilds. That kind of changed with Web3, right? And I think it was largely from Axie, where Axies got expensive. People wanted to play the game, but perhaps they couldn't afford them, so there was a rental system. And so guilds then became a method of overcoming a financial barrier to entry. BigTime is almost like an amalgamation of the two. So it's a free-to-play game. It's always going to be free-to-play. And the NFTs do not give you a competitive advantage inside the game. So yes, it is. Anybody's going to be able to play together, and guilds are going to be a communion of people who just want to run through dungeons and mollywop their way through and be highly ranked. But guilds tend to own the space. And ultimately, this is a player-run economy. BigTime doesn't sell a single skin. 0. They're all items found inside the game that players transact to each other. And so as we get into the space portion where the guilds and the space owners are really the ones producing those skins, that economy supply side is really run by the other guilds. So that's kind of how I view it, is like the guilds are ultimately going to be the supply of cosmetics and the player unions, and the demand for cosmetics is going to come from people who, that other 80% of the gamer population who just wants to swag out just a little bit.
So then where you sold the initial NFT drop, right? You got a bunch of money to start developing the game. Where are you going to be making money in the future if all the players are finding these NFTs in the game and then guilds are building their own NFTs? I'm just curious, where does the income come then? You have to keep the lights on, like you said.
Yeah.
How
so there's a 5% transaction fee in the marketplace.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And like, here's the thing is...
That makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, 5%'s not a lot. It's really not
certainly less than what Meta's 47% NFT sale marketplace announcement.
Well,
so yeah,
Roblox is like 70 to 90%.
Yeah,
I need another thing.
Yeah, no, jeez. The computational power is not hot enough already, but those fees on top, yeah, yeesh.
It's brutal, but here and it is low. And some people like keep asking me like, "What's the shtick? Where am I getting screwed?" And here's the deal: we need a lot of players in BigTime. So if you need to know the shtick, is we want millions of monthly active users. Yeah. And when you have 1 million monthly active users and 20 to 30% of them are the ones transacting cosmetics, then you can kind of see that these economies of scale generally work well. So I kind of go through the deductive reasoning of like, okay, if you want a lot of players in the game, I said people playing, not like accounts. So
right.
We don't need fake accounts. We need people playing it. So if you want to make a lot of players in a game, you got to make a good game. You got to bring in really good people. You got to make it entertaining. You got to have a lot of content. You got to do something different. And I think we assembled the team to do that, and we have demonstrated it. And we're pretty public about who's on our team. All like 70-something people are doxxed on the BigTime website.
Wow.
I was surprised. I was like, okay, there's like doxing and there's like, this is like unreadable. Like everybody's picture is on here. But that's how open we are. We're like, we have a big team. It's very good. And we're trying to make a high quality, enjoyable game. We are like committed to being like the best AAA game in Web3 right now.
No small order. Good luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it seems like, granted, like the landscapes are beautiful. It seems like there's a lot of different things. What is going to make BigTime the game? Like, what do you guys? Is it like not like tournaments? Is it community? Like, what do you think is going to be the one thing that drives it to get to the 50 million player base that you need to get that revenue that we're talking about to keep the lights on?
I didn't say 50 million. If we got to 50 million, I would be sipping nothing but champagne in my time.
There's a champagne water fountain at the office, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In the metaverse office that we all show up to. I think there's a bunch of things. I think aesthetically, you can already tell that this is
Right.
like from a lot of Web3 games, and I don't think that's a huge stretch. It's been in development for 2.5 years. I think that's really important. Number two, I think we've incorporated blockchain in a way that I would argue that this is probably the best Web 2.5 game that's out there. Like all you need is a Google account to start playing, and if you want to use crypto, if you want to make NFTs and export them outside the game, you can do that too. So we can combine both of those populations. It's I think it's still the best MMO game in Web3, and I think that this game, when it's at full launch, is going to compete with pretty much any other MMO that's out there. And even being so, for example, the 10th largest MMO right now by monthly active users is Star Citizen. They've got 15 million monthly active users. That's still blowing any other Web3 out of the water. So like even getting to like a top 10 level MMO is an incredible achievement with a ton of people playing it every single day. So that's like even that level of success would be groundbreaking in Web3. And I think we're there. I mean, this looks different, and like you're one world right now, and there are multiple worlds we are going to release.
Yeah, I think you have one thing that's really, really going for you, which is that sense of like basically it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like all these portals are basically like raids, right? Which is that kind of guild mentality that you were kind of mentioning, right? That panting in the background right now is.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right.
You can't breathe.
Show him off. Show him off. I know it's a short snoot. It's a little boob snoot that's panting really hard. Very cute. Little Puff. He's good. He's good. Oh, now you have a mascot sitting in the background. But it's you do have this sense of like team camaraderie, right? I imagine the high school Ryan would get home. He'd play a little bit of chess with his friends before dinner, and then once, like the nerd that he is, then once we would. This is a really big episode on the high school life of Ryan, which is a very strange world that's going on. But we would get off of school, we'd go have a pancake party, so we'd just make a bunch of pancakes, and then we'd sit around playing chess for a little while, and then we'd go to our individual homes, and then we'd eat dinner, and then log on and play like StarCraft or Warcraft or World of Warcraft or whatever the case may be. But like we would always be like the group of friends would always be on the team, so we'd go into League of Legends or Dota or whatever, and we'd like communally shit on each other for like doing really bad or like building each other up, like, can you believe we just did that? And this has that element of just like you have your team, you have your crew, you're going into all these different portals to fight all these bad guys. Like it really does have this like really cool communal impact where one person in a friend group would play and be like, I just checked out this really cool game, you guys should get in, we'll go raid together. Like, right? Like that's to me seems really, really cool. And I'm just thinking about like young me, like that's how you get that group of players in. I don't know if there's other things that you're thinking about just from what I'm seeing, like getting that user base. I have 15 million's easy. Why not set your sights for 50 million? Let's do this. All right.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, of course. And one of the things that you said is like, this looks like a raid party. And it is. And that is where BigTime kind of shines best. But there are other types of gameplay that will come out. For example, one of the next world we're going to release is called Epic City. It's much more NPC focused, interact with the lore, very different style of gameplay. So almost like quests that you would see in other types of games. There's still going to be some combat, but really it's a different style of gameplay. You have the space component, right? So for people who love to create those hangout areas, almost more like your Minecraft style of gamer, they're going to be able to see something inside of BigTime too. And those other worlds we've kind of teased about too. You can see how we can do things like racing or FPS in it as well. That all kind of coherently fits within the narrative or the lore that we've put together so far. So that's the other thing I really like about BigTime is that the time component gives you a modular ability to change the styles of gameplay. And so in that, somebody within the BigTime universe is going to be able to find something that they do like, not just rating is awesome, don't get me wrong. That's what my preference is for. But you're going to be able to do that and like quite a bit more inside of BigTime.
Is BigTime making a metaverse play? Did I just hear that? Are you like going all in? Like we're just always going to be logging into BigTime to do whatever? Soon enough, one of the gameplays will be educational content for tweens looking to have their math class with their gigantic warhammer sitting on their shoulder.
I don't think we're gonna ever get there. I think it's always gonna be a game first. And
okay.
I kind of take pride in the fact that I've heard games and gamers are the ultimately going to be. Love that comment that just came.
Yeah, I know. Butt slaps. Let's do it.
Yeah, is that the metaverse is the internet built by gamers, and I think we take a lot of those components, right? Like I'm a simple person, somewhat of a boomer. I tend to think of the metaverse in my mind as Ready Player One. And
is that a boomer take? Am I a boomer then?
Is that a boomer?
You're definitely a boomer.
I am a dad. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I guess that's true. I just like all right, fine. You've heard it here. I have accepted my fate. I'm officially a boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I have in my mind, and
I know
interoperability stuff to that, and a lot of other stuff, and it's exceedingly complex. But
right,
I like to think that this is the concept that will kind of get you there. Are we going to be the metaverse one day? Who knows? I think if we're myopic with it, and over the next year, I don't think we're going to have the answer to a metaverse. But I think
not in the next year.
Game. Yeah,
it's like the next year and a half, maybe, but like not the next year.
But there's so many, I mean, like the way that I simplified the metaverse is just like a shared computer simulated experience, which is like things that we already have today. And it's funny because I feel like now metaverse has become a loaded term. It's like a bad word. People are like, not a metaverse, like NFT fatigue, metaverse fatigue. And it's like, no, these things are still really, really interesting, like at their core. And I think provide a lot of value, whether it's like gameplay, socialization, entertainment, really like as you said, education, right? Or just like visiting with friends in cool spaces or family. It's like, why is the phone call, like why are we doing this? Like, why do you have to see my dog's pretty cool, so I don't want to shit on my dog, but like, you're seeing like this like background.
This is your time to shit on your dog.
Yeah, no, he's fine. But like, why am I should be doing this in like as my avatar, right? And VTubing obviously become very popular as like different characters or whatnot, but like that is how I see the metaverse, is being able to be anyone, anywhere, at any time, interacting with anyone, anyway, right? Like it's just so personalized and so custom. And I think that that's just what's so exciting to me, is like that is the future. Is like, I don't like doing Zoom calls all day. I get tired of it. Like I want to do it as like a character, as something else. Like that for me is really exciting and different,
And just like Dwight Schrute in The Office, who has his second life, how it's exactly the same. He works at a paper sales company. He's a salesman at a paper company, and the only thing that's different is he can fly. The only thing I want different in the metaverse is I just want a beard. I just want facial hair. And you can see today, I actually did shave. So yesterday I did not shave for the first time for a live stream. And boy, oh boy, was it big and bushy. But today, here we are.
Wait, have you guys... has anyone played? I'm like on such an Oculus kick right now. Hate me for it, but whatever. It's fun. I don't care. But I've been playing Population 1, and like, it's just funny. Like when you like fly out, right? Obviously, like you fly out in Fortnite, but like it's funny doing that in VR, and you're literally standing there with your headset, like I'm flying, like I'm like look, like and it's just like so. It's so. It just feels interesting having your whole body interact. And Ryan, I don't know if I've been telling you this, but like, obviously like my elven assassin addiction, but like hiding, like player versus player elven assassin, where you were like 7 other people and you're shooting arrows at each other and you're hiding behind wooden pieces. Like I'm legit crawling on the floor. I'm like crawling on the floor, hiding behind fake pieces of wood, shooting at like people that aren't there. And I'm sure I look so crazy, but I really like it. And like, that's where I see the future of games. Like, I just want to be like in the game. Like I want to be there,
Yeah.
So
when's the AR VR? Yeah, any AR VR for Big Time? What's going on? We just want to play VR Big Time.
Yeah, it's tempting, and I guess so. I don't really have a good answer for you about what the AR VR timeline is, but like
we'll get to 50 million players first, then we'll build out the AR VR stuff for you. Yeah. Easy peasy.
Well, I mean, I think it's a huge discussion for Web3 games about what platform they ultimately go with, and they have mobile, they have console, they have PC, they have VR in some sort of capacity or something like that. There's a lot of different ways they can go, and they end up making kind of big trade-offs in whatever they end up doing because nobody can kind of unify them right now.
Right.
So that's a big challenge. Mobile's always going to give you access to the widest number of players.
People. Yeah.
So many people.
And like generally in regions, for example, like a PC that you need to play this game it's a moderate to low level gaming PC, but that's prohibitively expensive for a lot of the world. That's quite a trade off that if you're a game and you're trying to get a lot of users, you may not feel comfortable doing. And consoles.
That's a dinosaur that we're looking at on the screen. Sorry, that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was a dinosaur. I know we have teased some content with dinosaurs and saddles on them. I think it's not too much of a stretch or not too much of an alpha for me to say that yes, you are going to be able to ride the dinosaurs in one of the worlds we're going to release. So
okay, I'm into this.
All right, even not AR or VR, I'd be down. Once we get the AR VR component to that, then I'm really down.
I'm literally gonna be like with a headset on, like riding a dinosaur. I'd be breaking all the furniture in my house, like done for.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have a dining room table anymore. It's just gonna be like my little VR setup. What's funny to me is because I did like an interview on Cheddar TV, and they were like, "Oh, we want to do it inside Decentraland in VR." And I was like, it's not in VR. And they're like, it's not? Like, no, it's not like a VR based game. But it's so funny, like all these misconceptions of what even is on what platform. I don't know. I mean, I think Ryan, you said it last time, or maybe Sebastian said it. He's like, just people need to start playing. Like, stop reading articles and just start playing some of these games because it's the only way that you really learn.
I know. Also, it's the only time you start to get having fun as opposed to pontificating about okay, what's the tokenomics of this? Am I gonna just play it? If you like it, then maybe you'll get some money for it. If you don't like it, just move the fuck on and go do something that's more fun. Maybe play Big Time, and get yourself an NFT, then go sell it. And then if you're done with Big Time and you want to move on to Red Dead Redemption because they spent $500 million making their game, sure, go do that. But I'm just I was having a conversation with someone. I know you have your conversations with your metaverse folks who are the metaverse this, the metaverse that. I was having a conversation with someone why would you do a show about GameFi? None of the games in Web3 are fun. And it's I was heart twist. I was we'll see. He's got some hot takes. We'll see. But I was just you haven't found your place yet, buddy. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I'll walk you back on the land. Yeah, Austin, if you're paying attention to this. Yeah.
What game have you played? That's when people tell me I hate VR, and I go, "What game have you played?" They go, "None," and I go, "Then how do you hate something you've never even used before?"
I am sure with 100% certainty, if people hopped in and they got a Ruby pass from some special thing that happens and they played this, they would enjoy their 15-minute dungeon raid. It's the same gripe that I have with people who are like, Dungeons & Dragons, I could never play that. It's literally, you are the thing that makes it fun. So, you just have to, get off your high dinosaur for a minute that you're riding in VR, AR, and, go out and have a good time. Just enjoy yourself. Let loose a little bit. I don't know.
That's it. So, it's not the game. It's you. If you're not having fun.
It's not the game. It's the player. Yeah.
You're not fun. That's
I don't know.
Matt's why are you doing that?
Yeah, Matt, while you're sitting here talking about Big Time. So I guess, just more holistically, it seems like there's a lot of fun stuff that's happening, right? You have the tournament that's happening this weekend for Big Time. So talk a little bit about the tournament. I'd love to understand some of the specifics there. And then just let loose. Tell us what you think about the future. We're just Play Economy folks hear us all the time. So we're old hat for them.
Yeah, I think it's always important in games. You got to go. You got to find what find what gets you off.
I know. Well,
you.
the Zoikos. What is going on here, Zoikos, with your Elon Musk Neuralink stuff? You just want to experience death with a Neuralink signal. You know what, man? Hey, if that's what's fun to you, go do you. Yeah.
There's like a nightmare fuel to that. It's like you just lie in your
Playing,
pod, and you got your Neuralink, and you got your cap.
playing some like Silent Hill type video game. Oh.
Yep, you're just like that's life. Is just like sitting there and having it all piped into you like the Matrix.
It's literally the Matrix. Like we are building the Matrix, basically.
I know. Yeah. Skynet smiles. Yeah, it's cool, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, what do you have coming up for Big Time? Because I know there's a big tournament. I would love for you to talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's actually a bit of a different take on a tournament. So we have a PvE game, but really some community members, some guilds actually came up with a pretty interesting way to do a competition. So we've got 32 teams from all over the world, from China to the US to Spain, everywhere, who are all going to be participating. And there's like a hide and go seek round, there's like a dungeon speed round, and some others different styles of gameplay. Can be pretty exciting stuff. And that kicks off tomorrow. It's going to go through Sunday, and we're sponsoring it. They're running it, and there's
wow.
$10,000 prize pool. Yeah, this is very much community organized.
That's really, really cool. If this goes, like, it sounds like this is going well already, but like, are you going to try and or like sponsor or be part of more things like this? Because that's like a really cool community led. That's awesome. Talk about decentralized gameplay and Web3 functionality. That's awesome.
I mean, let me put it to you like this. If you had asked me 3 months ago, would you guys support a big time tournament that's completely organized by the community, I would have told you no. Mostly because I couldn't have envisioned it how it worked. And that's not to say that they wouldn't have done great things, but we are leveraging like the collective brain power of like the community here. They came to us and they were like, hey, we're kind of internally already doing guild competitions. We'd love it if Big Time could kind of help like share this on their socials as well, and it would help us with our guild. And I took a look at it. The rest of the team took a look at it, and we were like, oh my goodness, we should sponsor this. We want to encourage this because ultimately, like if the community is kind of making their own tournament and their own content, that's something that's very organic. That's not coming from us. And so that's how we wanted to get involved here. So I'm very much open to any idea that people may have for how to grow the community and make it more engaged. So
this is it, viewers. This is your opportunity. Throw out your weirdest idea. All right, throw it in the chat. We will even entertain Neuralink death video game experiences for you. This is it. This is your chance. All right, start. No, that's actually really cool. It's great to. I mean, that's one of my favorite parts too about what's happening with the way like Web3 games are being developed that are different than. What did they really like create their own like hype video for this and everything?
They made their own website for this.
Are you serious? This is so cool. So this is like, this would never happen. Like, I'm just thinking like, I am in the Destiny 2 subreddit because I played a lot of Destiny 2. This would never happen with Destiny 2. Are you kidding me? Like, never. Like, the devs being involved in something like this. This is so cool.
Our devs are not involved in this.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But like, it is like you at least have like Big Time being involved in like supporting this kind of stuff. I would think like there's never anyone at Destiny 2 that would be like, yeah, we're cool with you guys running this community-led thing. We'll give you all the assets so you guys can make your own website and your own hype video and all this stuff. Like, that would never happen. At least I don't think so. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Destiny, if you want to come on this podcast to tell us otherwise, please do. That's just so cool.
Absolutely. I was blown away, and they did all this before we said we were going to sponsor anything. They were like, hey, by the way, we put together this website. We've developed this. We've actually been testing it the last 3 weekends. What do you think? And I was like,
yeah.
What else am I supposed to think?
I know, like,
think you
it's amazing.
know the answer to this. And so I was like, it was somewhat of an easy pitch.
This is what Destiny did. Apparently, that's right. They shut down their own fan event. I forgot about that. That's right. Destiny would that's why Web3 is so awesome. They're so much more intimately involved in the community because they literally like the fans are like bought in to the development of this game. So like if you don't answer back to your like the players and the fans, like you're never gonna, I don't know, and it creates a better game. I don't know. That's why we have this show. Becca and I pontificate about this all the time.
Yeah. That's King Aaron for you, who is telling me that my microphone is still coming in quiet.
I know.
Freaking tragic.
Turn it up.
I know.
I don't know how to turn it up. I'm trying. I
No.
remember Boomer here, so we.
Boomer, that's right. One boomer to another. Get an Amazon, actually highly rated Amazon Basic microphone here. You can get it for like $40 right now on Amazon. Telling you, boomer to boomer, plug and play.
Boomer
You don't even have to
boomer.
set. You don't even have to set any settings.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's cool. That sounds like it's gonna be a really fun time. I've watching the gameplay. I'm excited about this. I guess both inside BigTime or inside video games and Web3. What are you excited about? And then outside of Web3, because sometimes you got to get out and touch the metaversal grass. What are you excited about? I'd love to hear. What you're stoked on.
So, this may get me in trouble at work, but like I'm pretty excited with the overall development of Web3 games that are moving towards a fun first focus.
Okay.
When you look aesthetically at some of the bigger titles that are coming out, something like Illuvium or Star Atlas, they look different. They are offering something profoundly different in style of gameplay than what we are used to talking about over the last 18 months, and that means a lot to me. I think that's not paying lip service to the idea of a fun and enjoyable gaming experience. That they're literally putting their mouth and money and effort to their promises, and that's a lot. And it's not something you can easily turn up and turn down. Like that's 3 or more years of development that they have now slowly started to come to content with. I like that. I think that's good. I think that Web3 kind of tended more toward that play to earn, kind of fountain of youth for a little bit, and now it's coming a little bit back more to the somewhat controversial take of games should be fun. And we're pretty pleased with that.
Very hot take today. We will make sure to share that across all our socials. Games, fun in this economy? What is this?
I need inflation hedges right now. But no, it sounds so small, but like that takes you so far when you just really put that fun first focus on there. And the thing is like there is a delta, right? You talked initially about how half of the investment in all games right now is going into Web3 games, but investing, like I said, is with coming to market with a game is like 2 to 3 years. If somebody comes out with a game in 2 years, it's going to be pretty buggy. 3 years is about right. 4 years or 5 years, they're doing something different. If anybody kind of does anything shorter than that 2-year time frame, they're probably going to tell you that the number one feature of their game is it's a well-balanced economy with something about syncs and something about how everybody can make money at the same time. Is something where I'm like, all right, I'm moving away. It's kind of like a perpetual motion machine. And so it just takes time. And you can see that a little bit with hiring. I kind of follow game development reports a little bit more closely than I used to. And you can see that in terms of where experienced developers are moving. You can see them moving towards Web3 games, but they really started to do it in the last 6 months, which means, hey, we'll see it in 3 years. We'll see we'll see your trailers in 2 years, and we'll see your games in 3 years. It takes time. And fortunately, we had some pretty visionary people at BigTime long before I got involved who knew that this is ultimately where it needed to go. And that's why I think we have a pretty big first mover advantage. But other games are kind of hot on our tails, and it's exciting. I think overall the big winner here is going to be players.
Hell yeah, that's what we're in it for, right? The players.
Yeah.
And then what are you just excited about in life? In the pursuit of happiness and all those wonderful things. Winter gets a little chilly sometimes here in crypto land. So what are you excited about? What are you happy about?
I actually just moved, so that's been a pretty big change for me. I was living in Austin before this, but now I'm in grad school up in Philadelphia, so that's been a positive change.
Wow, that is quite the shift. I am actually headed to Austin in 2 days. I was in Baltimore and just moved as well, so looky there. Look at us boomers trying to live the old digital nomad lifestyle, trying it out. That's cool. What are you going to grad school for?
Business.
Ooh, that fancy term. All right.
The MBA.
Finance.
Hey, there it is. The fun stuff. Now we're getting into it.
It's interesting. It's interesting. There, like I kind of tell people that I work at BigTime, and everybody's like, "Have you heard about this metaverse thing?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, once or twice."
It's
That's really cool.
And it's somewhat of a kind of in like traditional like business school programs. It's not a new term. They tend to iterate very well. They tend to perfect systems that are already out there, and the metaverse is kind of quintessentially disruptive in that manner. And so it's a new topic for a lot of people. They're like, what is it? Why do we care about it? I thought NFTs are just JPEGs. What's more to them? And it doesn't take long to kind of convince people that, okay, NFTs are more than just like a profile picture on Twitter. They can do that, but there's a lot more utility there that's either coming up or it's in the not too distant future we're going to be able to see. Also, your dog, she is having a
great snore. He's a man. I don't know. Maybe he's trans. I don't know. But
it's 2022. So he can choose for himself, Becca. Come on.
Exactly. I don't know. He can't tell me, but I'm assuming it's 50-50, right? But no, I think that what I've definitely staked my career on, right, is that I truly believe that the 3 billion number of gamers is going to grow exponentially, just for socioeconomic reasons, like geopolitical reasons, like so many different reasons, like some bad and some great, like great gameplay and things like, oh my God, I have no money, I can't go anywhere, right? And so I'm going to have to be able to travel through games. And so to your point, exactly, like NFTs today might just be kind of JPEGs, and we're kind of scratching, we're trying to dig beneath the surface to make it even better. But I really firmly believe that in the next 5, 10, 20 years, right, like we are more and more people are going to have to game and live in virtual worlds for, again, sometimes some good reasons, and maybe some not so, maybe some we're not so proud of, but like that's just kind of like the state of the world as I see it. And yeah, want to be there.
What's exciting for you for grad school too is the fact that everyone's going to want to be in your group for group projects. So you have that going for you. Yeah, when you work in games and crypto, everyone wants to hang out and do fun group projects. So, well, thank you, Matt. We've been on here for about an hour. Thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate you talking us through, watching some videos. That's been a lot of fun. I guess, what can everyone do? Where can people find you or find BigTime or all of the above other than in Philadelphia? Let the folks know.
Yeah, you can see me in West Philly. There's 2 places.
Born and raised? No.
You can see the best updates for BigTime come in 2 places. One is on Twitter, Play BigTime, or on Twitch, BigTime Studios. On Twitch, we do giveaways pretty frequently. On Twitter, that's always where we put out our latest and greatest. Like, if you want kind of the most up-to-date information, some of the collaborations and stuff that we do with other people, Twitter, awesome. Twitch, if you want access into the game, we give out stuff there pretty frequently.
And then go sign up for your account. 1 click, like you said at the beginning, bigtime.gg.
1 click.
1 click. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. This is another wonderful episode of Playconomy. I'm Rhinoceros Rex. I love you.
Megatron.
We
and Puff
love
Daddy.
And Puff Daddy. We love each of you equally and individually, like I tell my children every day. Other than that, we'll see. I think next week we're on with Ascenders, and as opposed to being in the afternoon/evening, depending on where you are in the world, as long as you're on the East Coast, we are going to be on in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 9 p.m. Asia. So definitely check us out next week. We'll be live on Thursdays, doing some fun stuff with the Ascenders folks. Other than that, everyone have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
It's been real.
It's been real. Thanks again, Matt.
We'll see you on the other side. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.